One LP.
Oh, dear bad boy.
All right, good night, everybody. This is episode 3 of Bearded Conversations, the Justice League edition. So,
Thief.
I hope everybody has been dealing well with the ash. I hope you're cleaning up. I hope that you ain't getting an asthma attack nor nothing. So, if your chest was tight from the harm that you get in 2015, dog, this is the podcast to help you with that. So, listen, we can't help you, dog. But I just want to go off into larging off everybody. We can start with the guest, a friend, Ramon. Welcome to the podcast. Large off yourself, dog.
Yeah, good night to everybody. Just feel a privilege to be here. Me and T just got our differences. So I am very, very, very excited at this podcast because I want to see what like going on tonight. But other than that, I hear.
So what am I saying?
My mom saying that he's ready to get some trouble.
Yeah, but he got some like if he's both here, so agreeing with what we want. Another we've got men for sure disagreeing and bringing different points. So I guess you mean that for T for sure.
Yeah.
If you disagree, we can fund you.
Yeah, it could be rough. It could be rough tonight. So we have a shot for last week. It's having some technical difficulties. He may jump in while this episode is going on. He may not, but he having some technical difficulties. So I just want to point that out. Well, you got my boy Chad. Chad, large off yourself.
Yeah, man, we're going on, people. Just happy to be here for another episode of the Bearded Conversations. I'm looking forward to tonight's topic. I hope everybody out there keeping safe, dealing with the locations, and basically we still feeling aware and we still pouring our hearts over to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines because, we getting a little ease right now, but they're still dealing with everything in such a manner, and they hoping that the whole of Barbados can find something to offer. Times hard, things are very, very tight and difficult right now, but even if you could just afford a little something, just get it to the relevant places or authorities, and let me try and help we Caribbean brothers and sisters, man.
Yeah, man, definitely another shout out to the people in St. Vincent. We know that the volcano is still doing its thing. We want it to settle down, though. Tell you the truth. This last super COVID, just like that musty cousin that just come by your house and put your foot up in your furniture and eat the food that you know that you was eating for instance morning. That's just how these things are. But
that's exactly what you're doing, but you wait.
Yeah. So we definitely want the people to recover. I try to get back to some semblance of normalcy because that's where we want to get. Like 2019, we thought 2019 was bad, but 2020 and 2021 seem to be crazy. So we're gonna jump into shouting out Kwame. My apologies. Don't want to get the name wrong. I know that he lived close by me, so he may see me by the road and then come and put me in the headlock.
And they got no curfew no from Mondays to Wednesdays, so you can pass by you at anything.
Exactly. You may pass by me and beat off a couple shots no. And then I dead for getting there wrong. But Kwame.
Yo, man.
Kwame, large off yourself.
Yeah, good night, fellas. Glad to be here for another episode. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation because things can get spicy.
Yep, they definitely can get spicy. Yep. So Darian, boy, large off yourself.
Yeah,
large off yourself in the crank.
Yeah. Thanks to T for having me on for another episode on the panel. I hope everyone is staying safe. Make sure you're cleaning, you take all precautions. unfortunately, the guy had an incident today. So my thoughts go to him and his family. So everyone, please stay safe and looking to bring you another great episode again. So hopefully, I don't get kicked off this podcast. So I can do my best to entertain you and provide some knowledge.
And there's a podcast for men created by men and delivered by men. So you can't get kicked off, man.
Unless you have some feminist talking points that you decide no.
I spoken to the can't be kicked off, so my position is safe. Thank you, sir.
When my has some feminist talking points.
What was that situation that happened though that you mentioned with the guy today? Somebody fall off a roof again?
He fell through a roof when cleaning the volcano ash off roof, I think, in town. He hospital right now, so my thoughts go to him and his family.
Definitely.
Sure.
Hopefully, while he's recovering, he can listen to this podcast. And you know, when he recovers, he will have some renewed energy to go home and challenge his wife on all of the issues that she may be causing him. So let's hope that he recovers. Because this is a serious thing. This is a serious thing. We all want to get through it, but we ain't all getting through it. That's the reality, but we all want to get through it. So let me keep our fingers crossed that after all of this volcano, after all of this COVID, that we all come out of this together as one people, as a group of people that are healthy, that are happy, that are better for it. Let me just hope that. So the last person I want to large off is Zane. Zane, large off yourself.
Hello, good night. Hello, good night. This is Zane, the original barber and creator of the term Justice League. I want to know this is copyrighted and shall not be used
without express written permission.
You understand?
Exactly. It could be noise, so don't take that. You can get away with it.
So good night to everybody. As I said, I'm Zane. I'm here. I'm ready for this conversation to see what the different views that we have and to share my own. So I'm looking forward to it. Good night to everybody. Hope everybody had a good day. And let's go, guys.
Yeah. So before I jump in and talk about the topic, I just want to give everybody that was listening, if this is your first episode listening to us, I just want you to remind you guys, or if you're listening again, I just want to remind you guys that we all have our other endeavors. You know, Chad is the host of the Up Inside Your podcast. That's every Thursday at 8 p.m. So I want to give that a check out. So you guys can spill over to there. When you're done listening to our episode, then go and listen to Up Inside Here. He streams live on Instagram at 8 p.m. So definitely
Thursday night.
Thursday at 8 p.m.
Yeah,
so if you remember, just record it in your brain. Thursday at 8 p.m. on Instagram, and he going live, and you could interact with him as well. We got Darian. He has a podcast, the Anything Goes podcast. Don't forget that it comes every other Sunday. That's a live stream as well over on YouTube. What is the YouTube channel again? Darian, I keep forgetting.
The King Darian 95 YouTube channel.
The King. So he's over on the King Darian 95 YouTube
What's
channel.
the name of the podcast again?
Anything Goes. Anything Goes podcast.
That's on
YouTube.
YouTube. Or only YouTube, not Instagram.
Yeah, only on YouTube.
He's King Instagram, so I let you on that territory. I don't step on your turf.
My Instagram big enough for all of me, big dog.
Exactly, that's a big space.
Yeah, man.
So of course we have Zane. Zane is a barber. Gonna get lined up. You can't have bearded conversations with a barber. That's just what you feel. If you don't have a barber on here, we wouldn't have been legit.
Bearded conversation without beard.
Well, that's another thing, but you know, if you want to get that liner, if you want to get your hair started out, check out Zane is Irie Cuts. You can make an appointment. And don't worry, he ain't gonna take your girl, dog. It's just a client. So
well, thank you so very much for that riveting disclaimer.
So and of course you have myself. I have a more politically inclined podcast. That is the Political Refugees podcast. and that comes out every other Sunday as well. Another episode is going to be coming out this Sunday, and I'm going to be talking about minimum wage. So you can check that on all your different podcast streaming platforms, and it's also available through Anchor. And also, I have a Facebook page as well, so you can check it out at Political Refugees, and a Twitter at Political Refugees. And of course, you have this podcast, the Bearded Conversations podcast. Just a reminder, guys, if you want to talk to any of us, reach out to any of us, have a conversation, or join the conversation, you could go over to any of our pages, our Facebook, our Instagram, and our Twitter. Our Twitter is at Bearded246. Our Instagram and Facebook is Bearded Conversations 246. So give us a check out. Also, I will be doing hot topics. If you haven't seen those before, that would be an opportunity for you guys to get involved over on those platforms. So I will put out a video, I will put out a question, and then you guys could interact in the comments. And if you want to have a video, you could put out a video, DM it to us, and then we will put it on our page if you want to be seen. So that's just to provide another platform for you guys to get in and have your voices heard. So the topic that we're going to be talking about tonight is the table. The whole concept of the table. And the reason why I mention the table and not just what do you bring to the table is because the table, the whole term, and this is based on what I've seen on Twitter, but Twitter ain't a real reflection of the real world, so you may fault me on that. But the concept of the table is seen as offensive. And asking what a woman can bring to a relationship is now seen as offensive because apparently women are everything. They are the table. So I want to jump in and I want to hear what you guys have to say on that topic, the table. I can start with, I don't know who want to jump in first. Let me get an opportunity for who want to jump in first to jump in first. I can choose this thing. I'll put everybody on a spot.
Oh, but you know, last time I either gonna start first and you put me at back in class, so you know you stop me there.
Oh, so you say no, you back in class and get in trouble. That's what I sound like.
Man.
My man
So putting graffiti on the table.
my man protesting already early, passive aggressive early.
Nah, I'm more aggressive. I ain't passive.
So yeah. All right, let me jump in on Zane. Let me hear what you got to say, man.
You just said that you ain't gonna choose, and first you do is choose. What do you like?
Yes.
Fix me up, barber boy.
Yes.
That is man. Man, the word is choose the word at all.
No, boy, I can't. Since Chad at the back of the queue, and Chad is usually jumping first. You have to switch up you have to switch it up.
What do you think about the idea of a table? It's already the idea that of what women think the table is.
The whole concept of the table, just the table, generally bringing something into a relationship. Before we jump in, yeah. So is it negative, or let me put it even better?
No.
Is it negative to ask or to demand? Or have demands as to what you want in a relationship, what you want an individual to bring in a relationship. Not just what you want personally, but what you want someone to bring into a relationship.
I feel like that is a fair thing. I think we all have different forms of requirements for our partners or potential partners. So I think it is within the sphere of normalcy to at least imagine what you would like. But this is assuming that you know yourself well enough to know what you actually would like. My only issue with things like the table is, what do you deserve? And that's a question I have for either men or women. It's very much to do with your view of yourself and what do you think you deserve. Like a lot of people assume that they deserve the best, which I notice is a lie, a big lie. But anyhow, you can move on till we get into that.
Yeah, of course we can cover that. But I
Yeah,
just
we
want
got
to
the
hear.
participation trophies to thank for that, man. And everybody deserve the best because of them there. Just for turning up, you get a trophy. So
Exactly.
that's a big issue.
Exactly. Just by existing. A lot of women out here just by existing. I exist and I name Keisha, so I deserve the best.
Best. I deserve a
Exactly.
man that's 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, in the gym, got abs. I never
Got
want to talk
car,
about he member. He got a car. He got a good job.
house,
He got to be able to pay my way,
pay
etc.,
for
etc.
lashes to put punchy lashes and nails to put punchy nails and hair to put punchy hair.
I could
Exactly.
pay to get one of the cat and nine tails out of the museum. She's gonna lash his name.
So yeah, Ramon, jump in.
I personally think that the table is very important because with anything in life, when it comes down to relationships, even in relationships with yourself, you should have an idea of what you bring or what you
This man
expect.
went deep.
You understand? So
Yeah,
for
boy.
me, a table is very much needed if it is that you are very much serious. And if you want to see, and if it is that you don't want people to waste your time, then you need to have that table discussion.
Yeah,
But
true.
that's where this man went to. This man he eating fruits this week. You born vegan. This man went deep, bone. Like man say,
Yeah.
even if you're dealing with yourself, Jesus, peace, man. That's deep, though. Bigger
Yeah.
yourself, man.
My man, know how you playing a thinking, boy.
Yeah. He ain't got that
Yeah.
ass wrong he owes.
He turned eye open, boy. He turned
Yeah.
my house an ash in it. I get
My man, he like chakra, boy. God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shot for the vibrating vicious, yeah.
yeah.
What an
Yeah,
water,
Daria,
boy.
so jump in. Jump in, Daria. Let me hear your thoughts on it.
Well, honestly, I got no problem with someone asking their partner to bring something to the table. Obviously, no, I think you have to be realistic. I think you gotta see where you are and assess what type of person you're going to attract into your life. No, it's like I always say, I'd love to play for Real Madrid, but I can't kick a ball straight. So I got settled to be the little school team coach. So in life, you got to be realistic. But I don't see nothing wrong with having certain demands. But again, the problem with a lot of people always see, both men and women, is being realistic. I think that's a term that we hate to hear and we don't want to acknowledge. So I think that's where a lot of problems is coming.
True. So
let me just say, my brother. Let me say, my brother, that first of all, let me send you the deepest condolences for, first of all, wanting to play for Real Madrid, and two, can't kick a ball straight. That gotta be tough. You know, we gotta talk about football at some point. I think I got a lot of controversy circling the European Super League and all kind of thing, the existence of this thing. We can go talk about at some point.
Hold on, Chad, make clarify for you, right, Chad, right?
Yeah.
I was an Inter man, so I was getting up. So when I tell people that is we use back Italian club, so they keep them up shut. I just said I like Real Madrid, right?
No.
Yes,
Listen,
I don't deal with normal clubs. So I said, don't like Premier League and La Liga. I said back in this club, and I'm my team.
Let me tell you something, brother. The real fans of football, and I'm talking about the ones that recently come out of the world. We're talking about fans like back in the day. Obviously, some of them might have been very young, so that's the thing. But you see, back in the day, Italian league and Spanish league were the leagues that were covered by ESPN. You know, the Premier League was not covered by ESPN. It's only because I had a lot of match fixing and mafia ties in Italy. That's the reason why a lot of the players get buyout and the filter over to Spain and England. That's when the Premier League start to actually get momentum, I think. But I don't get conversations with people who know start watching football, brother. So you could tell me about Inter Milan and thing, and I don't know what, but this man gonna know about grassroots football.
True.
You big up yourself.
True.
So you see, Professor Pat my decision. He's a good man.
So before we veer too far off topic, let me get Kwame's his take on the whole situation.
They got a table in football too. You gotta get the top to play in Champions League.
Not the start table that women is want though.
Yeah. Let me get Kwame, man. Can't you, my brother?
Well, personally, I think when it comes to the table, is be unrealistic when it comes to women. Like, we just gotta accept basically whatever the woman decide, and then just want we to be this perfect Superman constantly 24/7, which is exhausting. So I think it's only fair that we as males should have asked them, what can you do to make my life easier? If when you got a light bulb that want changing, you calling me, I gotta change it. Every problem I gotta fix, every bill I gotta fix, etc. How can you enhance my life in return? It's only a fair question to ask.
Yeah, that is a fair question. It is a fair question. So before I jump into another question based on what you guys said, I want to hear what Chad has to say, man.
All right,
'Cause
well,
he
mine
is-
gonna be short and sweet, man.
I know
Cause
that
the
you were saying
fellas-
it back in class. So
Yeah. You don't know, yeah, just chewing my chewing gum, my chewing gum. I can tell when I this man, I offer the table because, as far as I'm concerned, that's where adults are sit. I believe with the table, things such as negotiations could take place. You could bring what you offering to the table, based on the conversation that takes place after you have the offering of what it is that you're bringing. You could then decide to offer an opportunity. Do you need me to clarify anything? You gain an opportunity to be heard and to be recognized. And you know my favorite word from last week, accountability, because everybody could attest to this, whether it's male or female. We just all love to put our best foot forward when we initially getting involved in something with somebody. But then the upkeep of that behavior or those antics this fade away because it was never really true. It was just you doing something in order to gain the favor of your current partner. So I believe, just like what the man was saying, you need to be more realistic. And I always have to say this when I speak. There's a difference between an adult and a person who got enough age to embark on a relationship, whether seriously looking for longevity or just saying sexual. Because as far as I concerned, adults are the ones who come to the table with everything straight up. This is what it is. This is what I have to offer. This is my experience in this particular situation. So you gotta let me know where you are mentally, and we can figure out whether or not we can embark on something long lasting.
So I got a question for everybody. Because this is something that comes up, and I mentioned it earlier. What are your thoughts on the whole concept of the table being an offensive term, or simply asking for what, as a man, asking for what you want a woman to provide as offensive? What do you think about it? And to provide a bit of context and to try to understand why women believe that is offensive.
I think
Some bullshit.
Yeah.
I think
So
the reason that is
yeah, before you jump in, I just want to provide a bit of context from how some of the feminists may be thinking. I may be wrong, but to demand something, and usually the assumption is that a man demanding something of a woman that she ain't gonna be able to provide, or thinking that, or having demands that fit women within a certain patriarchal perspective, or a patriarchal sort of box, whereas a woman got cook, a woman got clean, and that's what a man want, and they may see that as offensive.
What fix my car? What fix my car?
But based on they see it as offensive. They see it as offensive based on the fact that
these the same people that was arguing for gender equality, bro.
Yeah, but I just try to explain their perspective. They may see it as offensive based on the fact that they do not need to fit. You asking for that means that you want them to fit into that box. So I want to hear. So Kwame was jumping in first.
White car service.
Kwame was jumping in first, so I want to hear what Kwame has to say.
I think the reason why a lot of women will find that offensive is check it. if you don't got the money, right, T, and all the boys getting out, and I ask you to pay the bill, no, you won't get vexed.
True. Yeah.
So a lot of the women, from my experience, who get offended when a man asks, "What do you bring to the table?" are the ones who know truthfully they don't bring nothing to the table, but their body. But they have these unrealistic expectations of you. You gotta be Superman. When she's sick, you gotta be doctor. When the car break down, you gotta be mechanic. When the light fuse blow, you gotta be electrician. You gotta be Mr. Fix It. You gotta be handsome. You gotta be a certain height. You gotta got certain career goals. You gotta be getting up with sheep on cruise so she can end up on S News and the whole list. Get married by XYZ age, child by XYZ age. She done got she life plan up with you, and you just basically as a man just want a companion that you can live a simple life with, like a best friend stuff. Women just don't really care for that whole carriage and horses and ball gown, grand marriage thing. That's mostly like female thinking. We just want somebody we can spend time with.
Skipper, if you're gonna demand all of them things of me, that is all right. Let me be an electrician. Let me do like I said, let me do that. Let me do mechanics. Let me cut the grass. I could wash dishes, I could wash clothes, I could do all that kind of thing. But dog, but you, feminist or not, I want a little food.
Make that clear from before the podcast. All I want is food. That's all I want.
And that ain't me. And that is not me saying that I want to force or want to spend all she did slaving away in the kitchen, boiling or boiling.
Don't let me do that. Don't let me do
that.
that.
Zen likes food. So if you want to be in a long relationship, Zen likes food. So if you too feminist, if you too feminist to cook, well, you move on to Teague or somebody else.
But honestly,
food.
how could cooking be too feminist? I see that as a basic requirement as a mature functioning adult. You should be able to feed yourself, keep your own environment clean, and sustain yourself. That's part of being an adult.
I agree. You definitely should be able to sustain yourself. Period. That is fine, no doubt. But I also think that as a woman, you should learn to avoid, because if you get kids and for whatever reason you and your boyfriend don't work out, I can guarantee that the court is going to give you the kids, because as a man, we don't have that privilege. So you got to end up with the kids. So when you get the kids, they can't feed them KFC. Well, no, you know what? I'm talking foolishness. They can't.
They do. Hello.
Many do. They got women with 2 or 3 children, and the only thing that they can do is boil a hot dog here. Even that kind of sketchy. So
go ahead.
Yeah, so Ramon, I've been quiet. I want to hear your take on this.
I was going to tell you to repeat the question.
We was talking about the whole concept of the table being offensive. What do you think about that? Because some feminists take on the whole concept of a table being offensive because they may think that is a man asking them to confine them to certain rules. If they don't bring those rules, they ain't bringing anything to the table. I may be wrong, but that's how I think how feminists they see it. So I want to hear, because all the fellas was talking about whether they agree with it or not.
Well, you see, I try not to get too deep into the feminist thing because
you don't want to get canceled.
Yeah, but at the same time, I fully understand women asking for equality, but my whole thing is, if you're gonna ask for equality, don't just be asking for equality but expecting things to be only in your favor. You understand? Equality means that you share the same load, right? So if it is that you could sit down and or whatever you do, stand up, and you got this whole list of what you demand from a man, I think that a man should be able to demand certain things as well. My thing is, though, that persons having problems with people demanding things and getting all angry and stuff is a bit ridiculous. Because I demand it from you doesn't mean that you have to do it. You understand?
True.
You decide whether or not you could meet those demands, and if you can meet them for long term. And if you can't, then you just move on. You understand? So for me, anybody getting offensive or feel away about demands, like, come on, we demand things every day in life. So I ain't with that at all.
True, definitely. So Chad, what you gotta say, man?
Just like my guy ended, it's all about recognizing that demands are part of life. As you would know, whenever we went into lockdowns, the demands for food went up when children were home, as opposed to at the schools, the demand for more food was necessary in the house. I know how them people they surviving with them little children home, you know, and thing. But just like my guy said, demands are part of life. It's a quid pro quo kind of thing. And I don't know how somebody could be offended by a man stating this is what they want. If you don't like what you hear, move on to somebody else. It's really and truly that plain and really and truly that simple for me. Because if you go to negotiate a deal and the bullet points that you're seeing you don't like, you feel as if you're being robbed, do you not walk away from it? Or you stack it, you walk away and you will go and look for something else. So it's basically like I said before, when you come to the table, you come to negotiate, you come to bring your offerings. And if the person on the opposite side is not coming to grips or coming up to speed or meeting you halfway with what it is you have to offer, by all means take out your things and left the blasted table. I don't understand why this conversation about offensive is coming, especially from women, because whenever the conversation is like this, when a woman is stating the long list of items that she requests her man to have, the man can't get offended or should not be offended. And we don't get offended because we don't let stupidness get to we. But when it is that we know retorting and demanding what it is that we want and what we require, all of a sudden is offensive. So this is my thing. I got no time for you then, because if what he's saying is offensive, this is what I want. This is non-negotiable. If my man said that he want some cooked food when he come to the house, cook it. Don't tell me the foolishness about traditional roles shouldn't be like this no more. Women ain't meant to be in a kitchen. So tell me what was you other offering then? As my man said, you can deal with your, you don't go outside and wash it, you don't vacuum inside, you can deal with mats. When it's time for it to be serviced, you can go and buy the oil and the filters and the spark plugs and whatever and get underneath there so and get oily up and get dirty up and wash down the engine and thing. You can deal with that. I think that's fair. If the man brings something to the table and it offsets what it is that you don't want to do, that's another thing. The fact of the matter is women that stay, I don't want to do with no care. I care about no care. That's what man there for. Son, that's what man there for. So if it is that I dare to do them things or you expect that is what's supposed to be the standard procedure, why can't I expect that the standard procedure for a woman is to cook my meals and make sure that everything's shared with me belly-wise? There's where me and feminists has got problems. Because you, on one end, you want got the ability to mouth off and give your demands and be heard and be accepted. But then when there's a flip side, a man is supposed to be walking on eggshells. That's shake, though. We ain't working with that one.
It is. But one thing that you highlighted is the imbalance when it comes to the whole concept of the table and how some of these feminists are. If you come into to any table for any negotiation, because that's what it is. That's what you see it. It's kind of like you putting your chips on the table and you saying there's what you got. If you come into the table, you can't come with nothing, and you can't come with demands, knowing that you ain't got nothing. It's like any other transaction. Any other transaction, I can't come. I say, yo, dog, all right, Zane, let me start a barbershop. You got the barbershop. You can pay the rent. You can do the work. I can sit down here and I can take the other part.
Collect money.
I collect money. But what's even more irritating to me is not only do they think that they could do that, a lot of women think that they can demand that.
Right.
That they
But
are
that's how the
entitled to it.
society is. Yeah, man. That's
So
the problem.
my
Right, I would
problem
just-
is, as men,
But
and
that
again,
comes down to the fact that men don't see themselves as praises though. Men
That's
gotta
another
start
thing.
loving themselves more, because just like you said, the women just walk around with this belief that they are entitled to certain things. But yet they have nothing to offset. They have nothing to offset what it is that they're demanding. Because if you go in a gas station and you take up one of the expensive chocolates, you can't be 50 cents short.
Nope.
You got put down the people thing and left. So
Correct.
it is no different to this situation. If it is that you don't have anything to offer for all of what you're asking, you need to go somewhere and sit down. Because all that entitled thing about you as a woman and you deserve this and I am enough and all of these other things that are floating around in the air now, it needs to be dispelled. It needs to be, but brother, there's what we as men gotta recognize too. We stock foods, dog.
But
I can list out all of the positives about myself. I can list all the negatives about myself, because self-reflection is important as a human being. Not just man or woman, as a human being. You should be constantly striving to be better than you was whenever next you remember looking back at yourself. So a man got to think higher of themselves and stop sharing the self at everybody. And because somebody, big man, you know how hard. There was a time I was in the gym heavy and I was doing leg press, dog. And I just started to strain. I was on my last set and I was straining, big man. And I think to myself when I wrap that way, I said, you could believe that I ain't here killing myself to improve myself health-wise and to make myself feel better about looking in the mirror at myself. And a blasted fat woman will be able to look at me and think that she could get me. You understand? I would get thrashed for saying something like that, but this is the reality. It's not,
But
and I'm not
I
even
fully
going to go
agree,
down the
though.
line to justify that, oh, we're talking about fat women, whatever, because some of the nicest people in the world don't always have the nicest and sleekest bodies or whatever. But my point is, you are not the person that brings a specific something to the table to demand what it is that I put in the gym. That just was like the whole Kobe. You remember that song Rick Ross to bring out that what the woman that he had to pay 150 M's to the woman or whatever for a divorce, but she wasn't really shooting in the gym. That famous line. I think that was Drake. No, that was Drake. Sorry, my bad. So, but my thing is ultimately, if you out here working hard, you got a good mind, you just be self-improving. You just be looking for your next opportunity. You somebody that you don't think of yourself as better than no one. And you got all these other traits going on inside of you that is a plus. Brother, you have to represent yourself as a top food, though. You can't look good
That is true.
and be a shite home in personality because you become automatically unattractive to me and I don't want to speak to you.
That is true. That is true. And the thing about it is that, like, this is what it is. Know your worth. And I don't
As a
think a lot of
fact.
men out there know their worth. Like the same realization that you had, Chad. I had that when it come out, when it was out of relationship, and I know heading and I know like dealing in this day market. And I hear a lot of people saying, "Man, you gotta work on yourself and you gotta take." And I hear telling myself, "I want to work on myself for sure." But I hear
That's a
putting in
fact.
this work. I hear trying to get myself good mentally, good physically, all of them different things. For a woman that ain't worth scrap beat, really sit down and think about it. The women that just be demanding somebody that gonna be in the position that I can eventually get ain't worth nothing, dog. And I ain't trying to tear down women or anything, so. But what he's saying is that.
But you see what you're doing to us? Tiga, sorry that I'm interrupting you, right? But I realize that there's something going on with that we have to stop. We have to be able to say what we have to say.
Yeah, I understand.
We gotta stop that because when women
Instinctive.
ranting and raving, they don't say, you know, ain't that all men is it? They don't say that. automatically the men who don't fit the category will not be offended because I know she ain't talking about me. But I gonna move on. I ain't gonna make no fuss about it. But
That
if
is
I
true.
say
And I hear
something,
that.
if I say
And I
something
hear that.
and I don't specify that, oh, I don't mean that this body is this, and all of a sudden, no, we frightened to get cancer. I know that's be jokey, but that's a reality though. The only reason why that we ain't gonna be worried about being cancer is because we ain't like the bigger in the podcasting world that we get hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars thrown at us for each episode. But we gotta really move away from the society or the prerequisite of society know that whenever a person is speaking their mind and
Self-censorship.
speaking from a true space, they got to clarify. You gotta move away from that. Who offended?
I
Stay
figure that
offended.
it got common sense. Yeah, it's just common sense, man. The
But
me.
I ain't gonna lie, it's such an instinct.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
such an instinct. But here's the thing: it's a learning experience, and to me, I will know that I hear because know that you point it out. I only know realize it because the first thing in my mind, I know that I ain't trying to get at all women. I just trying to get at women that does be inflating themselves and inflating their ego and thinking that them is a 10 when them is actually a -5. That's who I getting at.
He might
But
never get him a
Like, my
whole
God, that's a
number.
drastic contrast, man.
All
no,
right.
but there's got some women out here that is clearly a minus, dog. And
But
them feeling
that's a 50-point gap, Teak.
yeah, but you clearly you clearly are a -5. And the thing
Just
about it,
sucking your soul, man.
is that this. If you know that you's a -5 on it, dog, they can got a man out there that can think that you's the sexiest thing ever. But at the end of the day, don't come and inflate yourself and come and try and play in a field where you know for a fact you can't play. Like I know that I can't play rugby. It's a little small man. I know that the man can come and lick me up and the whole set somebody. You think that I can try and play rugby? As
I can tell you thing. I
not
can
all
tell you
women
thing
do
that
it
I
now.
hear.
Two good later, so I want to advise it.
See, I can tell you saying that I hear. I listen to Amasa yesterday. Amasa, there ain't really much ugly men in the world, you know. Amasa, listen to me, right? Amasa could be unattractive. Going to gym, get his job, get his business going, make some money, dress fly, and that ugly man that is a 2 can move to a 5, 6, or 7, especially with the more money he get and the more success he has. Man said, ain't really much ugly men in the world. A man can level up enough that even if he ugly, he can got swag, he can got money, so he got success on his side and he can start getting women.
I
I
see
don't know.
women
I
online
don't know
saying
them
that
platforms
Jay-Z
in the
cute.
world.
I see women online saying that Jay-Z cute, dog.
Because no,
Yeah.
get it,
When you're a
Teak, get
billionaire,
it.
you're sweet.
Because you got to send an offer.
So,
No
That
sweet is
is
me when you got $1 billion
you
for
void
you
for them.
just for them. But
I got a question to the man, though. Because we obviously we're talking about the women that have a problem with men demanding things, right?
Cool.
So is it I know the men are more tackling the feminists, right?
Don't
But
matter.
is it more of it being the men in terms of us men in the past and even presently no, we don't demand a lot, especially what we would call men with money and stuff like the rappers and things. As long as they get money, they just throw money at 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 people, at women, right? And we all know that they got men too that would spend a paycheck on women. That's plain and simple. That's how
I think it goes
men
deeper
men
than
too. So when it is, let me ask a question. So when it is that you got and bear in mind I got a lot of women that just bring things to the table, but when it is that you got that getting a lot of money, a lot of gifts, a lot of anything that they want without bringing anything other than sex to the table, then you think that creates that environment or that level of thinking where if a man come to me and now all of a sudden he demanding things, who's he? Because I've been getting all these things before without even having to do anything, without even having to cook. You understand?
Yeah,
Were you really? Were you really?
that is a fair point.
Were you
Before
really
you
tackling
before you
the-
jump in, Zane, before you jump in, I just want to leave a note for Ramon in particular because I know that he just he's just a guest, but this is a podcast that is about it ain't just about complaining, it's about holding men accountable as well. So don't be afraid to think we ain't just on here to say that yo feminists doing X and feminists doing Y. If a man do stupidness, dog, we can hold you accountable because the only way that we can grow and learn as men is if we acknowledge where we getting wrong. So that what you brought up is a fair point. So you can let Zane jump in, and then they want to hear Darian jump in because they know he has been quiet for a while.
Yeah. What I was saying is that you beating at the heart of something that is much deeper. And I agree with you with the rise of not only feminism, with women going into the workforce, with the rise of the independent woman. I can deal with black women because that's who we primarily have to deal with. And the destruction of the black family, as it were. This is all the repercussions of that. We dealing with a woman now who is now getting her money. She's working for more and more educated than us a lot of the times. She doing she work. She putting off having kids. She's been told her entire life that men ain't good. She don't need a man. Well, except until she does. You know, you got these people, this entire generation of people who speak to black men anyhow, talk about us anyhow, because the fundamental issue we really getting at, the heart of what you really getting at is the lack of respect that black women have for black men. And don't get me wrong, black men have been contributed to it. And we have in different ways through different generations have done a lot of shit. And don't get me wrong, that is a fact. But there's also incentivized plan to disrupt and to continue along this road that we're going right now. It is people don't understand that the world is meant more money when people are single. But that's a different topic. But
It is a different topic. So,
but they haven't realized that is an incentivized thing. So they think that they grow up in a time where it's just so happens that women are asking for equality. Nobody with a thinking brain ain't got a problem with women asking for basic equality. Fine, go ahead, have a ball. You want to be a mechanic? Be one. You want to work. Who cares? We're not that bothered.
Exactly.
But when it is coupled with a disdain and disrespectful disposition when it comes to black men, the same black men that just complain and said that we don't protect them and this and that. I supposed to protect you and you tell me what the ass you feel like when you feel like.
That actually is another topic because I know one thing that has been controversial is the whole concept of black men actually dating outside of their race. And I know that a lot of that has to do with how a lot of black women are raised. And some of these black women end up raising other black women who could have these same ideals. So that is another topic entirely. I don't want to jump into that, but guys, stay tuned to the podcast because we can jump in to this same topic. We may even jump into this same topic next week. So stay tuned. Next week we may jump into it. But I want to hear from Darian, man. I want to hear what you have to say on Ramon's question.
So we doing the first thing first, or then we get to Ramon thing?
Which one? Oh, you wasn't able to answer the first question.
No, I just stop up for a little bit. When you asked about wrong for women to stand on the table.
Yeah, women seeing the table as offensive.
All right, I get down too long, right? But all I can say, I respect Zane for being hard in the paint just now. No, let me keep it real, right, Teak? Nothing in life ain't free. So if I'm looking for a partner, you got you to bring something that we're gonna bring value. Just if I want a young lady, I gotta bring something that make her look better. Or help her in some of the way. So it can't be wrong for me to say, yo, what you got that can help me out in life? And that'd be offensive. But the problem is in society now, we've been told when a man asks for something, it's misogynistic, it's bigoted. It's not seen as my favorite word, being realistic. And that's what we got a lot of relationship problems currently in society. But as I say, I'm gonna be brief. And Ramon's question was again, if men contribute to this.
Yeah. If men in some way contribute to
of course
how women perceive things, how women see this in the whole table and
of course, and it stems from, as the men say, with the rappers, I think trying want money and stuff. When they thinking the game, you got pay to play all that nonsense to get you wrong. So these women just think that's just how it is. You got the men online know that men guys us disagree, or I say it's right for a man to have demands. Yes, here, man, when a man just tripping, when a man can't get women, that's just how it is. So when we are here trying to answer better, we get criticized on other men too. So these women just look at it and say, well, if that men saying that y'all tripping, I can use that term, they're obviously going to go ahead and keep doing what they're doing. So a lot of guys, there's compound issues. Darian, as men, we got to take a lot of responsibility for this too.
But Darian, I can say all right, I can say it. So when I said the game, I didn't mean the game as the game being played. I was talking about the game, the rapper.
The rapper.
Yeah. He contributed. True.
Game actually said the other day, right, which was very controversial, that a man should take care of everything, the bills, every single thing. A woman should not have to do anything at all, right? The fact that I even mentioned about pussy too, right? That if she giving you half the pussy, if she giving you the all of the pussy, then you should be paying or doing everything that is needed, right? And if you got, as you said, if you got guys like that, just putting it out there and women and not demanding anything from a woman other than being, a sexual partner or whatever the case may be, then a lot of men that put things on the table and go,
hold on, let me jump in here, right?
Yeah.
You see, right? A lot of that now is we got to separate celebrity from real life. Now, as a celebrity, I got to sell you a dream. So, I got to pull up in the Benz, the big house, and I got to tell you what you want here. Now, in real life, most men can't afford a Suzuki Swift. So, you got to understand the dynamics you're dealing with. But, he has to go and sell records. And again, we live in the politically correct age. So, he got to say what sounds good to keep going. Now, imagine, because all can happen now with that statement is we can say, man, he talking a bunch of bullshit and they're going dead there. Imagine if he'd come and say, man, look, man, if there's a woman you want me, you got to do A, B, C, and D. We be talking about that now from now to the end of the year.
Listen,
So,
I can't take James seriously. He's a man that's going Clubhouse and name drop people. He always rapping and name dropping the women. He's and foolishness. I can't take James. James can't give me no kind of advice when it comes to women because he's very immature. I like he as a rapper. Don't get me wrong. This man went Clubhouse a couple months ago and just name drop every woman he fooled that famous for what?
He immature. Almost every single person that he has worked with, he followed with. You ever realize that?
Yeah.
He can't follow with 50 Cent. I know enough people follow with 50 Cent. But the game follow with 50 Cent. The game follow. Who else he was dealing with? I think Dr. Dre that he was working with, he followed too. Like almost everybody that he followed, I think that he does just be doing his thing. But honestly, honestly,
you remember he get that beef with Drake and Meat Mill?
Yeah,
he get his beef, dog. Like, too bad for you. Oh, you on there?
And the boy didn't. And the thing about it, right? That he distracted and think has so decent, but the boy didn't care at all. Like his immaturity, is overcrowding.
Yeah, and he's multi, right?
It's celebrity.
I know who's clearly immature, right? A lot of women are following behind because these voices are perpetuated in society. Guys like me and you is not being put to the forefront. So when we come from our different point of view, which is a more mature and realistic point of view, it's seen as bigoted, and even some kids seen as immature because
I
these guys are being propelled to the front.
Darian, I can tell you what I was supposed to say earlier when you were talking. What I was trying to remember to say, you know, come back.
Mhm.
On a deeper note, these black women want to believe in the men, you know. They're just afraid to. And
Facts. I agree
it is,
110%.
it is up to us to prove that we are the men that we say we are. Now, don't get me wrong, that don't excuse certain behavior because they do believe that these black women just don't know how to act. They've never been taught how to act. And this era and this time, they're trying to get rid. I literally had a conversation with a dude yesterday, right? He so happened to be gay. So we having a discussion about gender relations, etc., today, how it going on. But I coming from a stance of obviously I looking at man, woman, and child. He's more of a feminist, blah blah blah. Okay, cool. You know what I realized? The idea of we talk about patriarchy before, etc. There are literally, when I say they, I mean people, the feminists alongside some gays, blah blah blah. They are trying to get rid of the entire program of any form of gender roles, any form of anything. And the thing is that women don't understand that's what they're gonna for, you know. I don't think women understand their own privilege. One, that's something that they don't be taught to recognize. The same way that there's a trivial privilege to being a man, they are definitely privileged to being a woman, but they're not taught to see it that way. So when they catch themselves and then privileges are gone, these people are actually trying to separate the two to the point where nobody has to do anything. So we can live in a world eventually if we are not careful as men. Men don't have to be men, and that is what is happening now too, because we are not forced to step up to the plate as much anymore because women doing it, one, and then two, the mouthing off, the disrespectful, the tell we do what they like, tell me what they like, just tell me how much we ain't a good. So what reason does a man have to take responsibility if he thinks he needs to take responsibility for when his woman has no respect for him? And vice versa, it happening. I accept that. But at the end of this day, the women can be more upset because when they catch themselves and realize that the men ain't being men anymore, they can say no, that they're not good men around. But what I was trying to tell you earlier is that when I had this discussion with this guy and I talking about this, it really made he arguing back and forth. But then, you know, the man hit me with like really, and it hit me. I was like saying, this man gay. It don't matter. So he can afford to pull down the system. He can afford to talk about getting rid of gender roles. Why? Because he's not interested in finding a wife. He's not interested in making kids. That don't affect him. That does not affect him. So all this male-female dynamic that he trying to argue to show you the importance of family, etc. None of that shit don't play.
No, it doesn't.
So
that's unfortunate.
So women possibly, right? The same way women who held on to the homosexual, I know the homosexuals holding on to them, but the difference being that they may realizing that the people who are gay, they ain't gonna find them gay partner, and the rules ain't gonna apply to them necessarily the same way they gonna apply to a person who want to be part of a nuclear family. Women can still want to find a man, but they can eventually come to a point where they realize that they need to find a man. And men need to find a woman, because that's whenever done. I know that everybody want to be able to live their own life and do what they like, whatever, but the greatest thing a man can have in his life is responsibility.
Yeah, but I think not just men. I think that generally, and I think Jordan Peterson points this. Oh, I know that Jordan Peterson controversial, but I don't really care if you think that he's controversial. But responsibility, we all need responsibility because responsibility gives us purpose. I got some people that may be depressed, but the reason why they are getting through that day is because they know that they have to wake up and they know that they have to go to work. They know that they have children. They know that the children can wake up and they can want food and they need breakfast and they may need to go to school on time, all of those different things. And sometimes that is the main reason why people have that drive, responsibility. So we all need responsibility. And as men, it gives us purpose as well. The God law, man, that ain't got no purpose. All them purpose is to do is to sit down on the block and smoke weed. You don't think that some of them men will be dealing with depression? So like you don't think that the reason why they're using that is to escape depression? So sometimes all it takes is giving them some responsibility. Like the best thing that the Barbados Labour Party did, that was way before they got in, they got voted out, is they used to come and give the black men a weed whacker and that sort of thing on that program to help so that they can work. And when the reality of it is that them will go work. And because they have that responsibility, they feel like they got some purpose. Their purpose is
that's everybody thing, though.
Keep it real, though. So I make a flip every rackets for weed.
Yeah. I hear you.
Let me keep it real. So I make a flip every rackets for weed, though. But
so they get rid of the weed in the front and use it and left the whacker. Look, I do understand where T is coming from. As usual, there's always percentages. We gotta understand that I got people out there that will prefer to not do anything and get something. You understand? So to that old saying that goes that you could give a man a fish, but to teach him he could feed himself for the rest of his life. They got people that don't want to get up and go out and do the hustle and do the searching to be able to be independent and feed themselves. They always feel better just asking for a handout. So when you say A, you gotta say B. But I wanted to touch on that the game conversation, right? Let me say this to you guys. If you really and truly listen to his music, remember his first album was a documentary, right?
Yeah.
If you listen to his album, you will hear in every song he's always referencing somebody who's way bigger than him, like for a cosign. He will call Dre name a million times. He will call Snoop name a million times. He will call Maya name. He will call Whitney name. He was a person that was just built to like pander. So the fact that he is no longer at the forefront of mainstream media, he has to do and say unhealthy shit to stay relevant, because they said that fame is a hell of a drug. And when you can't get that fix anymore, you're not the number one contender for your name to be in people's mouths. They must try to find ways to get back in there. So it's only obvious that the trend right now is to big up this whole thing. This is what I'm saying, though. What he said does carry a bit of merit, but in this time, it is going to further gas up the existing order. So I believe that if a man is making the most money to the point that he could sustain an entire family, why should the woman have to go there and work? But if the woman is an entrepreneurial type of person, because as far as I'm concerned, money should be always looking for money. I should got businesses that are operating, whether I sleep in, whether I on a plane to Dubai, they're operating, people controlling it, they're making money, and that adding to our money. Because that's what a lot of women do. Women are lining with these men that got paper, and they're getting the men to inject funds into an entrepreneurial situation and telling them, all right, I can handle it from here. Nothing is wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with supporting a household, because that's what used to happen back in the day. We grandfathers, I think, had a housewife, then rearing children, then taking care of the home, and he going out and making ends meet. But yet people just want to come and reason that we gotta move away from traditional rules. That's a traditional rule I just mentioned. And what game is talking about is the advent of traditional rules from back in the day. But you see, it can get perverted, because all the women gonna read from that is, men should be supporting women, full stop. That's what they're gonna say. They're not gonna take the other parts with it, because we know what we up against. You know that you could be arguing with a girl and tell she, well, you know that, well, you just don't say that statement is real foolish, though. So I foolish? Now, what you mean? That's what we got contend with as men. So you can't be out here so making loose statements like that and expect that everybody can just take it and be cool with it.
We got
Because
ignored
I,
you
I
simply
just I
because he in
believe
the
I
upper
believe
echelon of men.
he ain't relevant no more. He just be looking for ways to
But I
stay
mean money
relevant.
wise, he top percentage of men. So
Right,
the average
right,
man ain't
right.
making that kind of money. So he can afford to thought he's shit.
Yeah, of
So
course he
if you
can.
make any money, you could thought that crap.
Sure.
But
He
the
could
average
talk
But
man,
there's
business for
something,
sure.
but there's something that needs to be said about that, and that may be something that we may end up doing another topic on. But there are, there are men out there that provide an anchor point for women. Cause you know how it is similar to saying, yo, big man, I ain't racist. Cause I got that one black friend that near Robert, dog. I ain't racist because of that. You know how white people this be and sometimes the white person the thing about it, and like I actually experienced that. I remember going in I was in a group and some of the people in there were clearly racist, but there was another black girl in there. No, them were the belittling that she can take. I ain't standing for it, but she can stand up to whatever them dealing with, and she can provide an excuse for them to continue with their behavior. And I realized that a lot of these men that just be out here like the game, but not just men like the game, a lot of men that just be feminists. And not only that, I remember Zane earlier, I think it was last week, you had that whole discussion on your Twitter, and the fellow
everyone
was
caught
there.
that.
No, it wasn't a discussion. You say something and then women come after you. So I don't know if that might be a witch hunt. But I remember I remember a man just there getting it hard for women. And
I
what
ignore them
men
now,
don't
though.
understand by doing that, when they do that, they don't understand when they do that, they're hurting their own, and they're hurting, and it's actually worse for their own interests as well. You know, they are hurting themselves more than the helping women,
But
because
TD, black
women.
women's God, so we got to differentiate at all costs.
But that's what people feel. But at the end of the day, you out here defending these women and you talking about this is patriarchy and this is patriarchal and what this man doing is nonsense and all of that. And
I ain't
you
gonna lie, I would
provided a
love to.
platform for women to tear down men,
The
to stop men from
these
progressing.
ultra feminists, I would love to see the boyfriends that they got. I would love to interview these men to get the real scoop on how the hell you just live with this woman and you got spend most of you there. Spend most of you there tearing down oppressive systems and all kind of. I would like to know what kind of men these is really
And
being.
most of these women got men though.
That's how
Some
men
of them
be. Like I
they
know
got boyfriends
one
don't let
ultra
me.
feminist that got a man. I know about almost all the ultra feminists that you see on feminist Twitter got a man be. Pelt
I
horns
don't
and a
know
man and a
boy.
thing too.
He's the man, or he's the man in quotations, if you want to what I'm trying to say.
Nah, as
Man,
in a
we
relationship.
know. We know. We got good. That myself would like to. I would love to interview them. I would love to know what the dynamic is.
I
Do you get
would
that?
like to know too. A lot of them does have men, but of course, most of them like to be that private type. You know what I mean? I post in my map on Instagram and all of that, which is another discussion. But to me, once you ain't posting up, if you're in a relationship, this is just what you see. If you're in a relationship and you socials look single, something that's a red flag to me. You can't be in a relationship with me and you ain't got no. I ain't telling you gotta post me every day and say, "Oh, is you man or whatever," but something ain't right. But I could, as Zay was saying, the dynamic got to be off. But to bring that back to the whole concept of the table, I think once you allow, because bringing in Ramon's point as well, once you allow a woman to come in and demand all the things that she demanded, but she ain't bringing nothing, the dynamic of that relationship can always be off, you know. It will always be off. So in terms of dealing with the table, as men, we gotta stand up for ourselves and say, look, this is what I want. This is what I want in a relationship. We are adults here. this is what I want from a relationship. And men, I can let you know there's nothing wrong with that. The woman could be offended, but as Chad said, if she offended, let she go along about she business.
Straight up.
Go along about your business if you are offended by what I want.
Really,
The reality of it is that women just be moving the same way, you know. People don't know that women just be moving the same way. I am worth it. I am this. I am that. No,
I'm not settling. And I'm not settling for less.
And as
Well,
men,
hold on. Chad Brett saying, what he's going to mean by they're not settling? What that's supposed to mean? Every woman asks that question, I can't get answer.
It's a silly statement, you know. When you really think about the things that women hold on to and run with, it really is not making sense, because when you decide to settle down, or you're not settling, when you decide to, okay, I like this guy here, I like how we aligning, I'm ready to settle. What does that mean? They just can't put to words what it is that they're talking about, because the word got so many different meanings, but it still comes back down to one thing. You decide to be with this person and only this person. So you settling. It's just like how they said that, you did negotiating a job payment, and then when it come to a settlement, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. I can't take on the two-sided thing, man. It's just too much.
Yeah, but what he was saying, and they like how Kevin Samuels has put it, because he's saying that men, especially high value men, they don't settle. But the reason why you ain't settling is because you got options.
Right. You don't have to settle, because you know that at the end of the day, I can say, I am a guy that I don't mind taking a woman out on a date. You know, I have this particular home, I got this particular car, life is good for me, and they got women out there that want my lifestyle. So they know that even if this woman that's all wholesome and everything does not want to go with you and give in to your demands, he knows that they got another woman right around the corner that would be willing to, so he's not going to settle. Yep. You know, it's only when you don't got no negotiating power or bargaining power that you have to recognize that, yeah, I might go that way get here though. But when you got chips to play with, you do as you like. You think that if he was to get the $50 that he need to get to $500 million in his bank account right now, that he wouldn't be getting on worse than he already getting on?
But
I understand what he said just now, cause you know that you don't recognize that. I say you only need $50 more to get $500 million in your bank account, but I can keep my jokes for myself, man.
I know you try to play me off as a big rich man, but
what you got the fuck?
I know you might talk about. They might got private access to one of his patios and all that. I was like, man, you want more than one patio?
The man always making sport at me. But Sean, what you say?
Don't forget this morning that they might have tell me, oh, you know, I don't want to use the blower to get rid of the ash car. They got the hoses in front of me. They might buy 2 lots, brother.
I ain't got the 2 lots. I know what I'm talking about. But
got 4.
No, it's something else. But
yo, Chad, right? See, you got 2 lots. So that don't mean you own 3 or 4. Just let me keep that straight.
Right, then the man say, you know what? Right, going in this area, I don't want no neighbors. I buy all these lots.
So I want to transition. Though that we here talking foolishness, I want to transition into the later part of this episode. Now they want to hear what you guys want a woman to bring to the table. We already know that. We ain't even asking Zane, because Zane make it clear from before we start the podcast, during this podcast. I didn't know that close to any podcast he can say, yeah, big man, I want food. So we ain't gonna ask Zane for this one. We gonna jump in.
I start with Zane, man.
But Zane gonna say that he want food.
All right, let me get him on the benefit of the doubt.
All right, Zane. All right. Let me give the benefit. Zane, outside of food, what do you want a woman to bring to the table for you in a relationship?
Let me give this some thought. I would say that I would definitely say first off, food.
Right.
So let me start there.
It's cooked. Wait. It's cooked food that you want, right? Let me
Of
put
course,
some clarification, cause you know anything is food.
no.
She could bring some Oreos and tell you that your food again
You want
tonight.
some? You want some? Cause when I see certain people in certain districts of a certain hue, but not black, but the flavor like a light switch. I be seeing it eating chips and salsa and all kind of ignorant things and calling that food. So I just want some clarification.
A good
A grilled cheese sandwich for dinner.
tasting food, and you got me good. I could do everything. Even if it's just to take in lunch, I could do a dinner. I could do a breakfast. I could sweep, I mop, I wash clothes, I could iron. I do a whole shebang. If I had to make a choice, one thing I want to do is that. So
Food.
you hold lunch, that you hold out. But anyhow, aside from that, I am a big believer in respect. That is a big thing. I think that respect is very important. Support, and you want somebody who is peaceable, as the Bible says. I try to remember which proverb it is. I am in a Bible, man. I'm a religious, but I never forget. The Bible say, pretty sure it was Solomon that said it, which is it is better to live on the corner of a roof than in a nice house with a contentious wife.
Jeez, boy.
Yeah,
These men
that's
went
a deep
vegan
one.
last week, eh?
Yeah.
These men shoot, boy.
And that is that verse in particular that you pulling at is Proverbs 21 verse 9.
Oh,
Thank
Lord.
you.
Yeah, that's it's better to live on a corner of a roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife. That's how the NIV puts it out.
Yeah, that's right.
The King
So
James
for me,
version, they put the King James version and puts it closer. It's better to dwell in the corner of a house top than in a house shared with a contentious woman.
that's right.
So we even quoting the Bible here.
I got like an in between situation there, but like I said, that is a big thing for me to understand me. Is so when we talking, and when we talk about bringing to the table, I am more, and I see this is where men are so typical in a way, because I am more interested in the personality traits than what you bring financially or whatever. I am more interested in how you will make me feel, how we will interact. Will this be a noisy household? Will I can be stressed? I worry about those things more so than I concern about the money you bring. But that is also something it would be nice to know that you can manage finances or that you have your own situation happening, whatever the case. I would want somebody who can cooperate with me, encourage me to be better, to organize, etc., etc. Yeah, and sex, but that's a bigger topic. So you move on.
Yeah, it is. So I see Ramon was about to jump in, so I want to hear what you have to say, Ramon. But what do you want a woman to bring to the table for you?
I was about to jump in.
I see the mic on mute, so I was like, oh yeah, we have something to say.
I honestly believe that all the men can say basically the same thing, because most of the times men is got
You want the same thing?
it's just the most important thing I think for men is peace, and he said it already. Peace. I need peace in my life. You understand?
PIECE or PEACE?
That's true, boy.
I see
That's
clarification, boss.
I dyslexic, so I'm not too sure which one it is.
I would say
It's
both.
true, because he may be saying that he just want peace.
I would say both. Both,
A
but
peace of mind, a peace of mind. But
Yeah.
but yeah, as a man, right? As a man, we've got a lot of challenges, right? we just got we wear on our shoulder. It might not seem so to some people, but ain't much of we men that could just snap we fingers and get a handle with, without doing anything. That ain't for men at all. If it is that you can't provide, if it is that you can't do certain things, you basically out in the wilderness. You see more men homeless than women. You understand? And I believe there's a reason for that. So the thing for me is peace, because we got be fighting for a whole bunch of things. As you were saying even earlier, you was apologizing for something that you said earlier in the podcast. You guys tell you, like, you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be afraid to say certain things and having to apologize for everything you said. So it's like, we be walking with eggshells so much in life. It's like, yo, just bring peace to my life. You know what I mean? Don't add no more to the stress and the burdens that men is going to take on. And then the other thing would be stability. So stability is things like, if you're looking for a long-term relationship, more than likely for most people, you can be looking to have children, right? So ain't everything, and I believe that both parents should be in a child's life, because it be things that a woman could bring to the table that a man can't bring to the table. You understand? I want to be able to know that I could depend on my partner for certain things, and it might sound a bit non-traditional in terms of the finance side, but we both know that we ain't live in our world no more where is a man that's supposed to work. As you said, some women making it better than men. Some women are entrepreneurs. Some women are financial controllers. All these sort of things. You understand? And if it is that for some reason I can't provide certain things, as a man, yes, I would try my best to provide everything that I could. You understand? But I believe they said two minds are better than one, and it's better to got two hands than to got one hand. So if it is that both people could provide or support each other in the challenging times, then that's fantastic. So for me, it's stability and peace, basically. I guess the sets always comes in relationships. So I ain't even gonna add that. You know what I'm saying?
Does it though? Does it, buddy?
Yeah, that's the truth. But that's for another podcast, guys. That's for another podcast. We could get I was gonna say we could get deep into that, but you know that people can misconstrue that and cause that to be something worse than what it is. They just put it here because you know that we is all adults, and you know that some people might in the gutter. So I want to hear what Darian has to say, man. What do you want a woman bring to the table for you?
I need a girl who got some common sense, because a lot of people don't take no ideas.
Straight off the bat, common sense.
I need some common sense in common, but I like it for us to try to make it more common. So
I call it exclusive sense, brother. That I actually coined that there. So on the Up Inside Your podcast every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Check us out on
let's plug.
Yeah.
Right. So as the professor said, I like a girl with an exclusive sense. No girl can think for herself and think, but can still help me out. Obviously, you want a girl to cook some food. I don't see that as bigoted or so we saying that stuck in the 1950s. If you are a long-term relationship, I like a woman who could be a good mother to my child. You want the action, like coming in and wrong with that. And to let me alone sometimes I could do in peace, you know what I mean? You can watch Netflix and I think I go and play my PlayStation. I'm sorry, as a nerd.
That's true. That's definitely true. So Kwame, you there? You listening or?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What do you want? What do you want from a woman? What should she bring to the table?
Well, personally, from experience, I think all you really need is a good partner, though. Like a certain level of maturity where you could come and open up and have any discussion and not be in a vibe. a certain level of maturity where you and the person could plot things together, like plan how to deal with bills, that sort of way where you guys could build and grow together. That's the sort of partnership that I'm looking for. Because at the end of the day, anybody could cook, anybody could clean, anybody could love you. But can you provide the real milk that will sustain me as a man? Is the general question.
Careful.
I know one word that you said that I stuck with me. You said partnership, right?
Yeah.
If I heard right, and to me, I think that we should be looking at most marriages where we can be spending long term with people as a partnership. Because when we think about relationship, we don't really think about 50-50, but when we think about partnership, we think about 50-50. And
Right.
50-50, I saw a girl on Twitter. She was, I think Zane had responded to that. I'm not 100% sure, but she was talking about 50-50, and sometimes a woman ain't going to be able to bring 50-50 and 50-50 in. And the way how she was analyzing it was as if 50-50 means a split down the middle. But sometimes 50-50 just means effort, you know. You putting in the same amount of effort that I putting into this relationship. You may not be able to pay half of the light bill, but you may be able to pay the water bill, though. You
So
may not
with
be.
this 50-50 thing, right? Look,
Yeah.
in life, there's some things that I could do better than you, and some things you could do better than me. In a partnership, I'm able to do X better than you. So I would do that. But then when it comes to Y, you bad at doing Y than me. So you will do Y. Or when it comes to X, I do 80, you do 20. And vice versa. So that way, it got to be a balance.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
But that's what I mean by 50-50 don't mean a perfect split down the middle, you know. It just means
but a lot of people do take but a lot of people do take 50-50. A lot of people, when it comes to math, that they struggle at math. When they hear 50-50, they legit think it means 50-50. So
yeah, but sometimes and the thing about it, and let me put this one here as well. Sometimes, especially in a relationship, 50-50 can end up being 100 to not, but still ending up being 50-50 in the long run. Because sometimes you may be working and you got a business as a man, and the woman may have to pick up the expenses in a slow month. If you get what I mean. Or you may get laid off and the woman got to pick up. Or it may be vice versa, where she get laid off and you got to pick up. But eventually, in the long run, when you come out at the end of all of this, you thinking, well, it was indeed a 50-50 split because I pick up the slack when she wasn't able to deal with certain things, and she pick up the slack when I wasn't able to deal with certain things. And to me, that's what it comes down to, a partnership, a true partnership. So I think that we just in one episode, like, we just redefine all relationships, because we just talk about what bringing to the table, adults coming to the table, and not only that, the word partnership, I think, ties it up perfectly, because it's all about what you bring in and how we can be able to get through, like what Chad was alluding to earlier in the podcast at the start. Adults coming to the table, and we're looking at how we can work this out. So to me, let me just play it this way. We ain't about a relationship per se. We are about partnerships, and we should be about partnerships moving forward. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that. But before we do that, I want to hear what Chad has to say about what he wants from a woman, what he wants her to bring to the table.
I know, like you said, I don't ever make sense me saying anything, because the fellas really and truly summed it up nicely. The reality is that every man wants peace. You see, peace is the number one thing that men is craving on. You know how many men, especially now, let me talk about COVID and stuff. Especially in COVID, men who were out, active, used to play sports, probably had a little dominoes thing, they got fellas to drink with. Them men there's avoid home. But when COVID took place and everything shut down, they had no choice but to be in the quarters with the woman that they don't necessarily enjoy being around, but they got all these things that they're tied with, whether it's property, children, marriage, whatever. And the reality is that is the beginning and the end of a real man's wants and needs. Because whenever I know that I could come home at 8:30 or I could come home at 12:30 in the afternoon, I know that I safe. I know that me and my woman good. I know that our communication is excellent or as much as it can be, as good as it can be. Them is the things that men does want. Men really and truly love peace of mind. And that is something that I don't think anybody should negotiate with, because at the end of the day, it can go all the way over to mental health and all of the things that spill over, right? So peace is very important. I would say understanding is also important, because to be understood is one of the most attractive things in the world. You know what I have posed to people before is ask them, do you think that you would prefer to be with a woman that look like X or Y? I mean, you talking about saying I look drop dead nice, but you and she can't go arguing without, and can't have a conversation without argument. But then you come home to a woman that's just average or whatever. But this woman does understand you, wanna could hold conversations, wanna could laugh, wanna could talk, wanna could argue, and at the end of the conversation, wanna know everything is blessed. To be understood is a real man's prerequisite, because when you are understood, you have peace of mind. When you have peace of mind, you have mental stability. You understand? Yeah. So then that gonna link to another thing, being communicative. If you're a person that use be spiteful and holding up you conversation, and we trying to talk about something and you getting on with that foolishness, but no, ain't nothing, I good. All of that silly shit is what causing a lot of relationships to come to a close, because yet again, when a man again communicated with properly, it means he can't be understood. If he's not understood, he can't be at peace. If he ain't at peace, he can't got the mental stability. So you see how all these things tie into the one another.
Yep.
And you're gonna
But
get
it
hard.
seems to be.
Wait, my mate, so left with it. But that's a fact. But that's a fact. Because you're gonna go and look for where you understood.
But it seems to me that peace. It seems to me that peace seems to be the foundation. I didn't even get into what mine are, but I realize that everybody, as men, like, and there's men on the podcast, and we from all different backgrounds, and all the men just want peace. Everything ties into peace. So it is a valid point. In fact, I actually learned something, because I was here saying no, and I was really thinking about it. When I had that aha moment where it's just like, yo, for real, boy, for real. Because I think, like, when it comes to peace of mind, it's so important. Especially when you were saying, Chad, when you come home and it's like the house ain't in a mess, nobody ain't quarreling. Nobody in the wife ain't quarreling when you come and deal with this child. Nothing. So you just come home and then you take off your shoes at your front door and you gonna put your foot up and you gonna watch some TV or whatever. That's peace. That's peace. But
it's definitely true.
But there were some other words that came up that I still want to hear your guys' thoughts on quickly. Because one thing is that, especially for demands from women, and I may ask this question, like, what is too much for you guys in terms of a demand from women? Because we talked about being realistic. So what is your deal breaker in terms of coming to the table? And I want to hear about but I think we cover enhance pretty well, because if a woman enhances a piece, and that's what you want enhance. So I think we can leave out that word, but that's a word that came out early, but it's realistic. So I want to hear the deal breakers for you guys. What does a woman come and say, I want X, I want Y, I want Z, and you say, hold up. That ain't for me.
No, good
Man
question.
gonna quit. Man gonna quit, boy.
They
Oh, the
gonna
men
quit,
just start to remember the ones that just call for top ups and things.
Yeah,
The trauma. The trauma.
exactly.
Shot, you know that Haluga got tenders from Munda.
They shout had technical difficulties, boy. My man drop out.
Yeah, I just talking about foolishness, man. For me, I think I am a very open person, but I kind of set in my way still. I think I got the best balance with that because I got certain things that I just ain't dealing with, and I got some things that I could be a bit open to. So I can't say anything that come into my head at the top of my thoughts that I could share with you that is a definite deal breaker. But what I will say is that a woman without a personality,
Ooh,
a woman who is not
ooh.
innately good, a woman who is not an individual who's challenging herself to be the best possible version of herself internally. I talk about outside because the outside thing, what women just fail to recognize, or what every boys fail to recognize, is that all of that shit gonna fade. You see your personality, that's what's keep people around. You see your energy, that's what's keep people wanting to be around you.
Correct.
And the
Correct.
faster they realize that a body is just something that they're gonna be decent for a couple of years, and then after that is like the nitty gritty is what gonna keep somebody around. I think a lot of them would figure it out quickly. Figure out what's
Yeah.
important quickly. So for me, personality is everything. Like I said, you could be tall, you could be short, you could be fat, you could be slim, you could be anything. You see, once you got a decent personality, you're a decent human being, you welcome into my space.
Yeah.
So keep all that sexiness and thing, and your nasty attitude, and always right this and always right that. Nah, that can't work for me. I mean, you ain't want no business there.
Keep it quiet. Keep it. I don't want nothing. I don't want that bad attitude. I don't want you miserable. But to me, what you mentioned kind of contributes to the whole concept of peace.
Exactly.
'Cause
It
you
always gonna come
disturbing my
back down to
peace.
peace. It
You
gonna
disturbing
always
my
boil
peace.
back down to peace, bro.
But attitude is a serious thing, dog. Like, I had to deal with attitude, and to me, like somebody that has an attitude is really disturbing peace, because that
Yeah.
interaction, somebody that miserable, that can stick for you. Might like they got women out there that will openly disrespect the man in public. That gonna be putting your mind, When you go home, you ain't gonna be able to put your foot and think. You ain't gonna like had a good day. It's gonna be yo, fam. Jeez, man. I can't believe this one disrespect me. I got a feeling that Chad was out there that time, and he see me, he see what went on. All of them things gonna be picking at your mind. So that is true. Yeah, Zane, you jumping in. I want to hear what's the deal breaker. I know the first one is that she can't cook. So if she can't cook, then it's Potter. But what
Yeah.
you gotta say is it?
Deal breakers. I don't know if they asked. I guess I got to think about asking somebody too early. One, that's one of the things. Especially without reciprocated effort or anything like that. I mean, you just feel like this is what I should be doing for you. That's one of those things. Other than that, I try to think of what demands people is made. I think sometimes it should be small stuff. Like people don't really consider like your daily expenses, however, they just assume you could do this or drive this place or collect something from that. Like you must be inconsiderate or whatever. I don't know what it is. But deal breakers to me is a lot to do with attitude. I need a woman with mental fortitude. So like I said, if you are taking attitude, we can do. If you is one of them abusive types, we can do.
Yep.
So like, if it's one of them vindictive, spiteful types, we can do.
If you're always in drama with people, girl, children, or whoever, when you go up on the internet, we can't do. Yeah, open your mouth and say what you like at any time, anyhow, we can't do. So that means the list thing. If you too ghetto, we can't do.
That's
So we
true.
got yeah, so I sorry, we got a good couple things there that but kind of boy that can't make me lose my temper and then I end up lock up on a few things. No, nope.
So,
I got probably 4 pounds with my life, super jail, all like the fuck my idea and everything.
and I know that you're right skin too. Long doggy Virgil gonna let you up.
Yeah, like bro. So why like me up? God,
So
the beast.
so Ramon, I want you to jump in on this one, man. What's a deal breaker for you?
Guys touch on a couple of them. I think the attitude now. Asking for money too soon. That's a thing too. I don't think anytime that you don't just meet a friend or associate or anything like that. Just out the blue you ask them. I think that's strange. But to add to what the man said, what would be a deal breaker for me in terms of me not going further with a person is time, right? Because there are some persons, I think it's called five different types of love or something like that. I can't remember what it is. But
love languages.
love languages.
Yeah.
One of them is time, right? And don't get me wrong, I believe in a relationship you should spend time with your partner, right? Like really, the only way you can connect and really bond. Well, that's one of the ways. But there are some people that require a lot of time, and obviously we are men here talking about women. So I would say that women that require a lot of attention, that can be kind of a yellow flag for me, a caution thing, because as a man I like sports, right? Just play my football. I don't want to be doing my football. I just run in terms of long distance running, just to keep fit and stuff. I like to do certain things in my space. You understand? And
Your time basically.
right. And you see how we having these discussions and things. I like to link up with my friends, my boys and things, and enjoy a good talk or anything like that. You understand? So if it is that you're a person that requires a lot of attention, and you're gonna find yourself, man, he always outside, man, I miss he ain't, I got a problem with that, because then you're gonna look for other means of finding that attention elsewhere. Or you might even that might even turn into an issue where it's an argument, where you always gotta go and play football or whatever the case may be. But I feel like people just forget that although you're in a relationship, you're two individuals. You understand? You like your stuff, and I don't think that for anything to be genuine, you can't stop nobody or force anybody to do what you want them to be, really and truly. So time is definitely one, and yeah, that's about it for me.
Yeah. So I gonna jump across a call me, man. What's a deal breaker?
Well, for me, I guess it would be immaturity and a lack of understanding. Because I believe like situations in life does change. But if you got somebody you could come to a level of understanding with and one can negotiate things, wherever it is, and it not be a vibe, as I said earlier, that's the survival. But I don't really want to come and sit down and voice something, open up, be vulnerable, and then it turn into an issue because you don't understand or you don't got enough common sense to get where it's coming from, or you can only see things from an emotional perspective and only see you in a situation rather than see things as a collective. I just can't deal with that. Another thing that's a turn off for me too is attitude. You see, like, when a woman opens her mouth and she's so unintelligent, I lose attraction one thing. I don't care how pretty she is. Like, when you pretty, you open your mouth and you sound like like six cats fighting for a piece of fish. I can't deal with that.
That is true, boy. The had people that I talk to, women that I talk to that use R instead of R, dog. Instead of like them. Yo,
Them little things will annoy me.
this is annoying me, dog. Like,
I know what you
how-
mean. I know exactly what you mean.
how are you today? I'm fine. What the hell is that?
I'm good.
Chick. This is mines.
Oh my word. Oh my word.
Listen, the man just now make me find everything that I don't like. No, I want back my turn. No, so that's a true thing, brother. That's a very true thing. You know, another thing I don't like, anything that, you know, like I consider myself a very clean man, you know. Like
Nastiness.
I real clean. This big man, you see anybody that the don't be taking care of themselves, like you are going to the dentist and when your teeth deal with dog. Nah, keep the basics correct. You want to go on nails, stiletto nails that pretty and updated every 2 weeks or whatever. God bless me. You
And
can't
your
find
mouth
some
full
money
of
to
plot.
get inside the
Grease trap.
Your mouth full of
so
plot, teeth full of butter.
Antarctica.
You could come and look 2 scripts and you could replace Robert's fat hurt. But there's got some women. There's got some women that just be like, nah, be like, there's got some women that pretty are going nails and hair contact and all that thing, and then when they lift the armpit, call you ice watering, your stomach feeling a little bit upset.
I gotta tell you a joke here, no. I had talking to a young lady a couple weeks ago.
Call she name, man. I just kidding.
She's a mama, no. Yeah.
Name drop, man.
Do it again. We ask you to shit.
Yeah, so I tell you a couple weeks ago, right? This girl was telling me she
Keisha, this girl Keisha.
Shut your mouth.
My teeth start being the game, man.
Don't
Start being the game, man.
don't disrespect the Keisha. You will get walk open.
Listen, so I told this
How much Keisha's in Barbados, big man?
the girl said she belly hurting she, right? I said, oh, it must be that time of month. She said no. I said, oh, he's embarrassing. She said no. I said, okay. PCOS or endometriosis? The girl said, no. She said, she wrote 3 balls. FRY BALLS. I replied, I said, wait, 3 balls?
What?
Man.
I ain't hear it
That
all.
no hurt me, man.
When it hurt me down there, I cried. I screenshot that I could have it. I screenshot that and said, to my boy and said, look at this here. Oh, the girl take 3 boys as 3 balls. I cried.
So
I feel bad.
So Darian.
For that.
So Darian, what is your deal breaker?
Yo, first thing first, that you really this thing called spell check, and as a dyslexic man, it does work. So let you know, spell check does work. Or speech text, check it, and then take the word you want.
But she got free balls, big man. That might be a upgraded version of fibroids.
She got half a brain.
Upgrade to free balls.
She got free brain. Yo, to T point, right? Yo, a chick wants to tell me this is a real thing. She tell me that if I want to do, get she money so she could buy me a cup. Now, let me explain something to you, right? Like he get powder on your face, so you ain't getting my money. And we know starting a relationship, right? And even if you get long term, you ain't getting the money neither. Like I hate that trash, but on a serious note, I hate a girl that ain't got the class. And when I say class, I don't mean bougie. I said you have a class. Yeah, that it's not like a Yamaha dirt bike. I love a Yamaha dirt bike, but not cannot you both big man. I can't stand. Shani, what is that? I can't do that. I can't handle that, man. Like, oh my God.
As Kwame said, 6 cats fighting each other.
Split scraps for each other, man. I mean, I expect you ain't got a bunch of money or them, but you got class. My class is saying that it's free.
Self-respect and dignity. Basically.
Exactly.
Cause if you
I
can't
can't stand
respect
what.
yourself, I can't respect you. Ain't you the same level.
Exactly,
Of
and then you want me to
respect
take you serious.
That
Hey,
way
you
tell me to make
I just want to take you serious. How can I want to take you serious? You want me to marry you? And I think like some random broad on Nelson Street. It can't work. You got to come correct, man.
That way tell my female friends you can't expect the one begin to the cruise, taking out samples in the way, you in a tongue shake and everything, you can see all the meat print out, everything pure, so you can see everything, and then you want a man to marry you and carry home and be the mother of your children.
Exactly. But we turn down. You can't tell me what to wear.
You basically set yourself to be a child mother and nothing else. But no matter what that to keep. It's just being real. Nobody want to carry that home and introduce that to the mother and the grandmother and the grandfather that they just know how to raise the.
That's true. That's true. So I can end off with saying my deal breakers. In terms of demands, yo man really have me thinking, dog. Yo man really have me thinking. But the people that can't spell and just pro with it.
It's true.
No,
it's one thing to be ignorant, but it's nothing to be ignorant and proud.
Exactly, ignorant and proud, and you got to, and then demanding you to accept them for who they are. Listen, I can accept if you doing positive things. I can accept, for example, that you may be a mother. But I can't accept that you're a mother that can't spell, dog. Like, seriously, I can accept. They got so many things that I can accept. But like when it comes to intelligence, I want to be able, because I just learn with all sorts of different people. People that are more on the academic realm and people that just that ain't on that academic realm. I want to be able to have somebody that can be able to hold a conversation. So once you demanded that you ignorant, and you can't spell, that's you ignorant and pro, that ain't for me. That ain't for me. Stand home, find another man that live in Korean. There might be somebody out there that just as nutsy that love you, but not for me.
You want to talk about philosophy, I think.
Yeah, but you won't be able to have. I want you to be able to hold an opinion like on some of the things that are going on, even if you disagree with me. I know you know
debate and think. I look that idea too, but I find that most young people these days can only talk about Cardi B.
Exactly, but that's where the culture is, and people is like, that's who I am. You gotta accept me as who I am.
I love and hit hard. They can do everything I have on love and hit hard, but can't tell you what going on with BLP. Could tell you everything going on with Donald Trump and American news, but can't tell you what going on here. It's make me laugh. I started to look the Master News bad.
But what we would say is this. What we would say is this. To me, like even things like knowledge and that sort of thing, your weight, all of that ain't who you are. That's where you are. I would be willing to accept that that's where you are, as opposed to you thinking that that's who you are and they gotta accept it. So I don't mind if you just got 2 CXCs, so long as you accept that you ain't dumb. That you may have certain circumstances that may held you back, and you pushing to do something far better, I can accept that. But what I cannot accept is demanding that. So that's my thing. And any other, like if you got an attitude, and I got a lot of women, like we ain't even mentioned that that's a demand, you know. But I got a lot of women that just want men to put up with that, and that is a demand. But people don't think that true. There's always be both, man, I'm crazy, man, that ain't a problem. I know that you got to accept that, right? But if you want to deal with me, you gotta put up with me being crazy. You gotta put up
moody.
Yeah, you gotta put up with me being moody. You gotta put up with the fact that I just be miserable. No. I could put up with you trying to be cute and annoying me. That ain't a problem. That ain't a problem. I got a problem with you thinking that when we want to communicate, that you telling me, okay. I hear spelling out my guts, man, I had a bad day and blah, blah, blah. You just say, okay.
Let's get me back.
That all of them things just get me all set. So you can't demand that. And in terms of what you want women to bring to the table, dog, it's peace, fam. And anything that contributes to that. I was gonna say more things, but it's mostly peace. I wouldn't mind you being intelligent and being able to hold a conversation. And women that, like, another deal breaker for me, women that say that that's how you maintenance and demand a man to take care of them. And here's my view, and I know that this can be controversial. So, you know, when I know that man can be saying, boy, you gotta cut that out. As a joke, but like, the way how you see it, when people say how you maintenance, I probably said this before, I don't think about a human being, you know.
Think what car?
I think about a car. I think about a house. Them are different things. But you want to know the difference between a car and a human being? I can get in. If I got a 110 boat there that gave me problems, every 2 minutes I gotta buy a part for it. When I buy the part for it and I carry the mechanic and he do his thing, when the car come back and it part outside, well, it's a 110, so hopefully it don't get teeth. But when the part outside, I could get in it, I could swing the key, I could drive in boat when I feel like. Well, don't mind the curfew, but you know what I mean. I could get in, I could swing the key, I could drive it when I feel like. I could use it when I feel like. I could do whatever I want to do with that car wherever I feel like doing it. Now, if you hire me, I got to invest in you. I should be able to get what I want for all of you wherever I feel like. And that's the thing. You bring yourself down to an object. And when you bring yourself down to an object, people should be able to treat you like an object. But if you don't want to be treated like an object, don't bring that sort of nonsense to the table. That's just how you see it. I ain't saying that men should treat women as objects. We shouldn't. But from the time you put yourself in that realm, don't be surprised that people treat you in that way. That's how I see it. So when me saying all that I have said, we now come to the end of the podcast. I think this one was a little bit longer than the last, but you know how it is. It's all about getting in a good conversation. So just a friendly reminder, on April 25th, that's this Sunday, guys, we will be having a live stream. It is going to be a freestyle. So we can talk about all the different things we want to talk about and some of the things that you want to talk about. So we will jump on, interact with us. We are going to be on Facebook and Instagram. So without much further ado, I'm just going to end it there unless anybody else has anything else to add. Well, everybody like to sleep in, boy. I put the man to sleep.
You right. You ended it the right way. It's just we gotta wait to find out what we're gonna be talking about on this live stream.
Yeah.
And be prepared for it because it will be the first for us as a Bearded Conversations podcast panel. So I'm looking forward to the live stream. But you know, the beauty about what we're doing here right now is the fact that the man could be looking bummy and spitting facts. You know what I'm saying? But you don't know. So you're looking forward to that day for sure.
The dust this league. So yeah, just keep that in mind, guys. I think this podcast is going to be out. It's going to be out on Saturday, so hopefully you guys listen to it and get to the end where we talk about the live stream. It's going to be a freestyle, guys. A freestyle. So we talking about anything that comes to mind. You realize how sometimes we got off topic, but this time it don't matter if we go off topic. So join us for about that hour and a half when we just jump in and we talk about everything. And we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear from you. We want to hear everything that you gotta say. So without further ado, I'm gonna end it there. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And till next week, guys.